can do what I want when I want to do it. I can do what I need when I need to get through it. When I need someone else, can't be too proud for help, but gotta look after myself. Sometimes it can get lonely, never living in the moment. When the sun is shining, hope that I'm reminded, like how the clouds keep changing. I'm always steady rearranging, going back to the basics of what a good day is. What a good day is. And that's exactly what it is. But it's exactly what you make it. So please don't go wasting. And I'll do the same, even if it's raining. How could I complain? And my feels got me feeling some type of way. You always free to take a break. Hope you feel what I felt. You gotta look after yourself. Sometimes it can get lonely, never living in the moment. When the sun is shining, hope that I'm reminded, like how the clouds keep changing. I'm always steady rearranging, going back to the basics of what a good day is. 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 And that's exactly what today is.
All right, it is that time. We are back in the building. Y'all know what to do. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can see me. We're gonna go ahead and get into it. Hopefully y'all are doing well on this Monday. And ooh-wee, we're looking all crispy and clean on the screen. Welcome, y'all. Welcome to another episode of the morning show. I'm your host, Classy of ClassyBeats.com, and we are going to get into it today. Hopefully y'all are ready for a great show. I'm looking forward to talking with y'all about what's going on. We've got some breaking news, some breaking news, really. What's going on with Jay-Z, Beyonce, A$AP Rocky, and Rihanna? We're going to get into it. Also, we're going to be talking about what's going on in the YWN Melly trial. We've got some news about Tony Busby. Oh my gosh, it just keeps getting worse for y'all's guy, Tony Busby. But geez, we're gonna get into it. First, y'all know I've got to say what's up to the people in the building, though. Good morning to everyone that's in here. My awesome, amazing Amy is in the building. Good morning, Amy. Always good to see you in here. I love and appreciate you. We've got Les Cleaver up in here. My guy Michi's in the building. A Fitz, shout out to you. We've got Valencia. Shawnee is back in here. Riggs Nation's in the building too. Good to see you, Riggs Nation. Good morning. We've also got Alabama. Gigi is in here. Slim Live Taco Tuesday on a Monday. Good to see you. We've got, who else? Power Folks Living is in here. Ryan S. Oh my gosh. We got Trisha. She's been a member for 2 months. She says, hello, Classy, Amy in chat. Happy Monday. Happy Monday to y'all too. Serotonin, good morning. We've also got, oh, I know I missed a couple of y'all in here. Miss 86 is in the building too. Always good to see y'all, man. I'll be saying good morning to a few of y'all as well as we go throughout the show, but we're gonna go ahead and get into it. Before I do have a favor to ask y'all. Can you please like the video? I'm gonna be begging for likes until I'm not on YouTube anymore, all right? It is the #1 way you can support the show. It really does help us continue to grow. It takes 2 seconds to do, and it lets the algorithm know that y'all are enjoying the show, and it shares the video with more people. So if y'all could do that for me real quick, I would greatly appreciate it. We're gonna get into our first story here today in a minute, but before I do that, I gotta read some of the super chats, and I will be reading the super chats as we go throughout the show as well. So thank you to everybody who showed support, man. Again, shout out to Trisha. She has been a member for 2 months. Saying happy Monday to y'all and to the chat. Appreciate you. We've also got Michi in here. She's dropping the 5 bomb. And what does she say? She says, happy Monday, CEB fam. Prayers for the abandoned children in Pontiac, Michigan. by the hands of a monster. 4.5 years living inhumane healing for those kids. Oh my gosh. I have not heard about that, Michi. So y'all have to give me some updates on what's going on there. I've heard, are you talking about that lady that was living in the car with her kids, and then I think, what was it, 2 of her kids passed away or something like that? I don't know if that's what you're referring to, Michi, but either way, let me know. That is so interesting. Let me know what y'all are talking about in the chat. All right, so I feel like, let me see. Let me make sure we're good. Okay, so we've got everybody in here. Let's go ahead and get into our first story. She said, no, that's not what you're talking about. Dang, what's going out? What are y'all talking about then? Hold on, I'm hearing some music coming from somewhere. Did y'all hear that? Oh yeah, okay, I see where it's coming from. So you're saying, oh, when I said it's not, I said Michigan. That's not Michigan. That's what's MI? Mississippi? You said a mom left her kids in a home for 4.5 years? How? The lady left her kids in a house and was living with the boyfriend in a separate place, only bringing kids food once a week. Okay, it is Michigan. I was right. The house was utterly disgusting. That is so sad, man. I'm gonna have to look into that when we cover it. Y'all know, if you've been here for a while, you know how I am with crimes against kids, and I there's only so much I can cover here at a time because it makes me want to. Yeah, it enrages me. So that's really sad. I'm gonna follow that story and we'll see what's going on there. Dang, I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, are the kids okay? Are they alive now? All right, we'll get into it later. Let's go ahead and get into the show. Again, if y'all could, please make sure you like the video on your way in. We're gonna go ahead and get into it. So Fannie Willis is up here for some reason. We are not talking about Fannie today. Fannie gets a break. So shout out to Fannie. We're going to talk about her coming up tomorrow because she's got some new news that's going on with the Department of Justice. But we're going to go ahead and get into this YWN Melly trial. So we had a situation, y'all know, YWN Melly's ex-girlfriend was in custody. Then she was actually released thanks to Judge Fiend putting in some work there, but she had to wear an ankle monitor. And obviously her and her attorney were upset about that. They're put the ankle monitor on her because they're afraid she might not be there to testify once court starts in September. Now, the reason she's even here in the first place is because what's being alleged is, and what her YWN Melly's ex, we'll just call her Mariah, what Mariah's mother did was Mariah's mother overheard a conversation between Melly and Mariah, allegedly hours, minutes after the supposed shooting took place. So she heard a conversation. She overheard a conversation. She testified to it once the first trial went down. And then obviously they had to call Mariah as a witness in this case. Now they're trying to run things back. They want to bring her back in here, and they wanted to ensure that she showed up to testify once the court was underway in September. So they got the ankle monitor on her. And now we're going to have to sit here and see why she's got the ankle monitor and if they're going to allow it to be taken off. Judge Fiend, he doesn't want to do it. He wants her to be available for this court. Obviously, we know there's been so many delays with these proceedings, but let's actually get into this from Law and Crime and see what Judge Fiend had to say.
So you ready for me to go back on with you? Ready, sir?
Yeah, this is so sad about Melly, man.
Miss Hamilton, where you at? Okay, come on up.
And there's Mariah right there.
Go back on the record.
She's been released.
On the top of the case was turned out of state versus Jamel Devins, 19-1872 CF10A. The reason that we're here today, this is an emergency motion to vacate, which is filed on behalf of Mariah Hamilton, who is a material witness in the case. Can I get the lawyers to announce their appearances for the record?
Yes, Christopher Barris for Ms. Hamilton.
Justin Griffiths, on behalf of the state, and joining us on Zoom are Ms. Buckaloo and Ms. Collins.
All right, I got them both on the same call. So, counsel, I did read the emergency motion to vacate, which was electronically filed February 17th. I likewise read the statutes and the authorities cited therein. So any evidence, witnesses, or testimony that you'd like to present? Go ahead.
Not at this time.
Just your argument?
I think that the court can decide based on my pleading.
So, Mr. Griffith, let me ask you, since you're the one that's here, the state's position on the defense emergency motion to vacate, they want me to take the ankle monitor off his hand.
No, Judge, State would be objecting based upon the fact that the writ was issued in the first place and the difficulties in securing her presence for trial.
Also, Melly requested to be here for this. He did not have to be here for this. Melly said, man, hey, y'all come get me out this cell real quick. I want to be in here. Again, this is so sad. I had someone in the comments of one of the videos I made about Melly saying, I don't know why you're saying it's sad that Melly's been sitting in jail. Why aren't you talking about the two guys that he killed? First of all, we don't know that he did this. Y'all know on this channel, we believe you are innocent until proven guilty. There has been some evidence shown that says maybe he possibly could have done it, but I personally do not believe that it's been proven he did this at some point. So we believe on this channel that you're innocent until proven guilty, first of all. Secondly, if this man goes throughout this entire trial and he gets to the end and it's proven that he is not guilty, he would have sat in jail for over 1/4 of his life. Think about that for a second. 1/4 of his life, he has been sitting in jail for a crime that he could be completely acquitted of. Think about that for a second. And I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay, so listen, again, not that, I'm certainly not foreclosed to reconsidering this at a later point in time, and for the record, I did read the motion, and there's a lot in here about 942.03, and Mr. Barris's position is that that's not applicable to Ms. Hamilton, and he's probably right about that. That's why I released her from custody the first time that I saw her. However, I did look at everything in the electronic docket. I was not the trial judge back then handling this case. I'm not making any judgments or finding any facts about it. But there does seem to be an awful lot of pleadings, emails, letters, pleadings, notices, that there were some issues going on about cooperation with witnesses. So there's an easy way to do this and there's a hard way to do it. It would appear the prior judges that handled this case came to the conclusion that Ms. Hamilton chose the hard way to do this thing. I don't think anyone that's not charged with a crime should be under any form of security anyway under normal conditions. However, this isn't a normal condition. The state's identified her as a material witness. I do have 902.15. Again, this is only applicable when someone is facing life imprisonment or the death penalty. Mr. Devins is in fact facing the death penalty.
He's facing the death penalty too.
All she, just like any other witness, has to do is come to court, and either side wants them to come to court to a deposition, to a motion, or to a hearing. And as soon as that responsibility is concluded, that will end the security that's been put in place, which I have chosen to be an ankle monitor as opposed to posting some form of monetary bond. So at this point, respectfully, I'm going to deny the emergency motion.
Dang, he said no.
And again, I'm not foreclosing either side filing whatever motion in the future. If you want to need time for an evidentiary hearing, I'm happy to do that. And again, I'm always ready, willing, and able to listen to any evidence, witnesses, or testimony that either side wants to present regarding the issue, but based only on what I've read in the electronic docket and what's been in the pleadings, because that's the only thing that's been presented to me. I'm just not comfortable doing anything else at this point.
And she's going to have to wear this thing. Let's see, when September, 9 months. She's going to have to wear this thing for 9 months. Plus, we don't even know if she's going to be called as the first witness or how long it's going to take to get her on the stand. So, hey, I get it. This is garbage. And she's got to be so frustrated. She's got to be so upset and mad because the only reason she's here is because her mama opened her mouth. And obviously, her mother has come out and said since then that she wished she hadn't said anything in the first place. She regrets even saying anything. She was very difficult once she was on the stand the first time. So it's interesting to see that this happens. It's tough.
That's what it is.
Your Honor, I don't understand where you're deriving your authority from.
Dang.
Can you explain that for the record?
Well, I mean, actually,
He said, "Why,
I usually don't
Judge?"
answer lawyers' questions, but this is security. The security is the ankle monitor. I mean, the alternative would be,
Yeah.
Do you want me to take the ankle monitor off, put her back in jail, and set a monetary bond for her to post? Is that what you want me to do? Because that's what security means in the statute, just like any other bond statute.
You don't want that. Nope.
That's where I'm getting the authority from, sir, 902.15. So I'll enter the appropriate written order. Again, Ms. Hamilton, same as when I met you before for the first time. If any side subpoenas you to testify at a deposition, at a hearing, or at a trial, whoever that may be, state or defense, all you gotta do is show up, honor the subpoena, and then as soon as the trial is over and the matter is resolved, it will also resolve your current situation. Anything else I can do for you this morning?
No, Your Honor.
State, anything else I can do for you?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Mr.
That's
Devins, all
tough.
pending motions remain set April the 1st at 1:45 p.m. His trial remains set September the 10th at 9 o'clock. So I believe that concludes FT for this morning. However, we are going to handle one matter on the FG docket, which is State versus Willie Ward, 15-10015.
Oh, she is not happy. Dang, come on. Shout out to Mariah, man. She is not happy about that. And I don't blame her. I don't blame her. And a lot of you were saying in the comments, if she hadn't run in the first place when it came to testifying, she wouldn't be in this. She wouldn't be here at all. That is very, very, very true. But she also wouldn't even have had to testify, allegedly, if her mom hadn't spoken up and somewhat snitched. You calling mama a snitch? That's crazy.
So as soon as I have him present, and I have all the parties present for that, we'll go back on the record. So we're going to be in a recess until we're ready to go forward with that.
She is not happy about that. I feel for her though. That's tough. And Melly's like, nah, I'm good.
May we be excused?
Yep. See you next time.
And Mariah's not the only one who's got an ankle monitor either. So that's something to keep in mind as well. There's a couple of them in this trial that do. So I feel her pain on this. That's got to be so frustrating.
Mike, this is not quite on the record yet. Ms. Buckley, I'm not on the record yet. Can you, is that you on Zoom? Hold on, I'm gonna turn it on.
Judge Perez is here, right?
Yes, bring it. Okay. Ms. Buckley, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Your Honor. Good morning.
Okay, so I got Mr. Griffiths in person.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I got to let people in one at a time. So I need to handle this.
All right, and that's pretty much it for everything with Melly. They move on to another case, but dang, man, how would y'all feel? Can you imagine being in this situation? Just because you made a phone call with someone, nobody really would have connected it. I don't know. We could assume that at some point the state would have looked into the phone records and see, oh, he made a call to Mariah. Maybe what's going on there? Maybe we should look into it. And she could have possibly given some sort of statement and said what the phone call was about. But she might not even had to testify. But thanks to mama, she's up in there. And not only was she locked up because, as was mentioned, she was running, but now she's got an ankle monitor on because she has to testify at some point. So we'll have this trial coming up in September. Excuse me. Y'all know we're going to be covering it here. So make sure you stay tuned in and subscribe for more updates. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments in the chat as well. Shout out to the gang in the building too. I see y'all. Thank you to everyone that's liked the video too. Over 200 of y'all in here, and over half of you have liked the video. So thank you so much. Happy Monday to everybody stopping by. I see you in there. I see you in there, Mo. Happy Monday. VV says, I'd be so upset. I mean, all for just answering the phone. Quite honestly, if she was in a different judge, they would have told her right then. Okay, they would have told her right then and there, if you come in front of me again asking for that monitor to be off, I'm going to put you in jail. Dang. Well, I mean, again, how much would the bond be for her? That's a question I have for y'all too. What do you think the bond would be? obviously, I don't think an attorney is going to advise their client to go to jail. Excuse me. And yeah, she was subpoenaed and she ran. She didn't show up, which is why she's got the ankle monitor. I don't think any attorney would advise their client to go to jail, but maybe if it's like a, I don't know, $5,000-$10,000 bond. I don't know. It might be worth it to say, yeah, just put me in jail. We'll get the bond and I'll get up out of here without the ankle monitor. But then they could go through all that and then she still has the ankle monitor. So who knows, man? They just suck it up and show up when you're supposed to show up. She's not going to jail. Her passport is revoked. Everyone liked the video. Thank y'all for liking the video. Good morning. Good morning to everybody in here. Appreciate y'all showing love. Bingo. If you want that monster off, then go to jail then. No, she's not going to jail. Y'all think he's going to run? She's going to run. They don't know what they talked about on the phone call. So all she had to do in the first trial was come in there and say, I don't recall, I don't remember, or we did not talk about that. It's that simple. And honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I want to find her testimony. Let me see if I can find her mom's testimony. Let me see if I can find it in real time. I'll see if I can find it. They had a subpoena for her, but she says that she was not properly served the subpoena. I guess when you're in the wind, you're basically a ghost and can't be found. You can't be subpoenaed, can you? And it's crazy because during this time, she actually did an interview and was with her lawyer doing an interview. It was wild. We reviewed it. We reviewed it here on the channel. Like, isn't she supposed to be in court? And she was doing an interview with, I think it was Jesse at Law and Crime. It was the weirdest thing. And he was trying to ask her certain questions. The lawyer was getting upset. And he's like, she's not going to answer that question. It is the wildest thing. Let's see. What is her mom's name? Felicia Holmes. That's what it is. I'm trying to see if I could find it. Double murder trial. She didn't testify. Obviously, she got arrested. Felicia Holmes testified in 2023. Let me see how long this video is. This one's 49 minutes. So we might have to get into that at a later date. So maybe we'll do that at a different time. But it's still interesting that all that went down. And the mom was basically on the stand being difficult and like, oh, I don't want to go through all that. I shouldn't have said anything. All right, let's get into this next one because we got some smoke for Tony Busby. This is going to be interesting. I don't know what's going to happen to Tony Busby, and we've talked about this guy so often, and he's taken so many L's. I don't know what he's going to do at this point. I'm sorry, I got to fix my chair. I don't know why I'm sitting down that low. Here we go. Boom, I got it. So when it comes to Tony Busby, we've went throughout the entirety of this back and forth between Tony Busby, the alleged Jane Doe, Alex Spiro, Jay-Z's lawyer, and Jay-Z himself, right? So now Tony Busby is in a situation to where he has some explaining to do, right? Because not only did the lawsuit get dismissed, Tony Busby had to hire some attorneys, not only for himself, but for the Jane Doe that he was representing. These attorneys come in and say, hey, man, you this whole thing up. We got to drop it. We need to get this dismissed. Right. So that's a little bit of the history there. We're actually going to go back and do somewhat of a rewind and see what happened leading up to the situation that Tony Busby has put himself in now, because now Judge Torres told Tony Busby, we need to see verification and proof that you were actually allowed to go through with this and that you were admitted into the Southern District of New York. One of the things Alex Spiro mentioned was, hey, I don't even know. Tony Busby's just over here signing stuff. He's signing his life away on every single piece of paper that comes across his desk when he probably wasn't even allowed to do that in this state. So we're going to go back and do a little bit of a rewind and see what Tony Busby was saying before and hear what he has to say now, right? So first off, Tony Busby submitted this letter to Judge Torres, and this is what he said in the letter to Judge Torres. Your Honor, I write on behalf of the plaintiff Jane Doe in response to defendant Sean Carter's letter dated December 30th, 2024, pursuant to which defendant requests leave to file a motion pursuant to Federal Rules Civil Procedure 12 to dismiss the plaintiff's first amended complaint. We now know that did happen and was dismissed. Defendant states his intentions to move for dismissal on the grounds that Doe cannot pursue her claim under the New York City Victims of Gender Motivated Violence Protection Act in New York City Administrative Code 10-1101. Right, they're going to call it the GMVA moving forward because the GMVA does not have a retroactive effect. However, neither the Second Circuit nor New York City Court of Appeals has endorsed this reading of the GMVA. In support of his argument, defendant cites a trial court order decided on an unopposed record, which is merely persuasive in authority. All right, Lewis versus N, because I'm not going to even try and say that word. All right, defendant's argument as to the GMVA is unpersuasive as it is contrary to the law's primary intention to make it easier for victims of gender motivated violence to seek civil remedies in court, not as defendant would have it make it harder. New York City passed the GMVA in light of the void left by the Supreme Court's decision in the United States versus Morrison, New York City Administrative Code 8902. Morrison struck down the federal right of action of victims of gender motivated violence under the Violence Against Women's Act. All right, and we're moving forward. Tony Busby, he keeps going. He's not backing down. He also says the Supreme Court, however, urged local governments to provide a remedy to women like Morrison who had been brutally assaulted, as no civilized system of justice could fail to provide her a remedy. So we go through all this. He also says, finally, the defendant intends to seek dismissal on the grounds that the conduct alleged in the FAC could not have occurred in New York City based on the plaintiff's description of the residence in question. We now know it got dismissed for a reason, right? Combined with public records confirms that any such residence was located outside New York City, as defendant seeks to rely on evidence outside of the pleadings, which would transform a motion to dismiss to one for summary judgment, and as discovery is not yet underway. It is respectfully submitted that the defendant's proposed motion is procedurally improper and should be denied. Well, we all know that that's not what happened, Tony Busby, right? So now we have this from Tony Busby. What happened? Shout out to Megan Cooner for this. She said, Tony Busby's lawsuit against Jay-Z was dismissed and it ain't coming back. Tony Busby took an L. And what happened here? In the matter of Tony Busby, the petitioner, the Committee of Grievances, the committee has considered Tony G. Busby's petition for admission to the United States District Court of the Southern District Court of New York, which was filed on January 29th, 2025. What? January 29th, 2025 is crazy. So they are basically outing Tony Busby and saying he tried to clean all of this mess up and they weren't having it. Per the committee's review of the dockets, Mr. Busby has appeared in cases in this court without seeking admission. What? Meaning exactly what it says. Tony Busby was doing things he wasn't supposed to do. And we saw this. We knew this. And it makes sense now that he would hire more attorneys, because I don't know what's going to happen to him. I'm not an attorney. I don't know how everything works with the bar, and him not being admitted, although he was representing someone who was had a claim in the Southern District of New York, but it doesn't seem like it would be good. Let me read this again. Per the committee's review of the dockets, Mr. Busby has appeared in cases in this court without seeking admission. Therefore, the petition is denied. In the event Mr. Busby moves for pro hoc vice, I always say that wrong, or regular admission in this court in the future, he must attach a copy of this order to his motion or petition. So this is going to follow him anytime he wants to practice. he wants to do anything in the Southern District of New York. They're saying, hey, if you want to practice here, or if you want to move for an admission here, you're going to have to attach this order. So they're going to know that you messed up. They're going to know you didn't do the right thing. They're going to know you tried to circumvent or circumnavigate the system here. That's embarrassing, man, to Tony Busby. What else happens? So Tony Busby, he pretends like he's going to fight back. He pretends like he's going to fight back on this. And he posted this on Instagram. He says, hey, guys, I actually have proof that I was allowed to show this admission, or I did have proof of admission from the Southern District of New York. But what's the problem here? Let's read through this. And Tony Busby posted this on Instagram, which is embarrassing. Appellate Division of the Supreme Court of the State of New York, 3rd Judicial Department. I, Robert Mayberger, Clerk of the Appellate Divisions of the Supreme Court of the State of New York, 3rd Judicial Department, do hereby certify that Tony Busby was duly licensed and admitted to practice as an attorney and counselor at law in all the courts of this state, January 17th, 2019, has duly taken and subscribed the oath of as prescribed by the law, and has been enrolled in the role of attorney and counselor at law on file in this office, is duly registered with the Office of Court of Admission, and according to the records of this court, is currently in good standing as an attorney and counselor at law. What's the problem with this? This has nothing to do with the Southern District of New York. That's the problem here. So when it comes to the Southern District of New York, this does not apply. And that's something that Tony Busby should have known and definitely does know. What did they say? What does Megan say? Busby posted proof of his admission to the New York State courts on Instagram. It does not include admission to the federal Southern District of New York, which is where most of his lawyers against Sean Diddy Combs are filed. As the top post says, the Southern District of New York won't admit him. And that's what we read earlier. And then also we have this. In the matter of Sean Diddy Combs, the plaintiff attorney Busby's admission to the U.S. Southern District of New York, it was denied. And we're going to show that here in a second, right? And what did Tony Busby say? He says, this is embarrassing. This is so embarrassing. Tony Busby said this on the 21st. What did he say to Judge Torres? I am in good standing of the bars of the states of Texas and New York, as well as the Eastern District of New York. One grievance was recently filed against me in the Southern District of New York, as explained in the attached affidavit, but otherwise I have not been the subject of any disciplinary proceedings. Well, that's about to change, I have a feeling. I was recently denied admission to the Southern District of New York, based in large part on the grievance referenced above, as explained in the attached affidavit, but otherwise have never been censored, suspended, disbarred, or denied admission or readmission by any court. I have never been convicted of a felony. I have attached the affidavit pursuant to Local Rule 1.3. Well, we have this, right, that we just read. So he was denied. He was denied, and now we're going to have a problem moving forward, because not only is this going to affect this lawsuit that Tony Busby had and was dismissed with Jane Doe, but it could possibly affect other clients that he had going at Diddy, possibly going at other people. And it would be interesting to see what's going to happen with this moving forward, because what if there was the threat to someone, let's say Celebrity B, for example, who was never named, and with this all being filed in the Southern District, or with them not being admitted in the Southern District of New York, what would happen if somebody had settled and Tony Busby wasn't even in a place to where he could pursue this further? But Jay-Z was the only one who fought. Jay-Z was the only one who stood by his innocence and said, I'm not going to let you guys, well, we won't use the word, I'm not going to let you guys try and get me to pay somebody and say I did something that I didn't do. Happily Angry Lawyer said that. Jim R was in the chat saying, I wish more people would fight like this. I wish more people would fight against the Tony Busbys in the world, because a lot of these cases, people not only are bringing up false claims, but if you're truly innocent, writing a check is really the easy way out. Either way, I'll be interested to see what y'all think about what's going to happen to Tony Busby. This is not a great look for him at all. And as a lawyer, I can imagine that someone would be hesitant to seek his counsel moving forward. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments and in the chat. Shout out to the gang, man. This is Tony Busby is a piece of work, to say the least. This is wild. And shout out to everybody who's been supporting too. Thank y'all for liking the videos. We got a couple more topics to get to, most specifically the one most of you came here for, the breaking news with Jay-Z, Beyonce, Rihanna, and A$AP Rocky. We're going to get to that coming up here next. We've got Libby22 SC Girl just became a new member. Welcome to the members side, Libby. I appreciate you being here. We've also got Mr. Brown in the building, gifting the 2-bomb. Didn't even leave a comment. He's just showing some love, man. Shout out to my guy, Mr. Brown. I appreciate you. And thank you so much for the support. Oh, man. What else is going on here in the chat? Let me see what y'all are saying. And shout out to everybody who just stopped by too. I see some people joining. We've got Danny in Real Life is up in here. Who else did I miss? I think I said what's up to Slim Life. Peter Steele's in the building. We got Mal Beauty is up in here. I could talk, I swear. Good to see y'all. What else are y'all saying? Let me see. I missed something in here. Who would want to pay a bond where you know she's most likely going to leave again and then you're going to lose money? Not me. That's a great point. Good morning to everyone who's saying good morning. No, he's not literally meaning that, but he's basically letting her know, don't come back in front of me again to get that monitor removed. Yeah, I agree. Busby has always been a corrupt lawyer in Houston and alcoholic. God dang. Okay. Hey, Tony, I'm just reading the comments. All right. Don't try and sue me for defamation or anything. I'm reading the comments. I did not say this. This was said in the comments. Okay. All right. So relax, because I know you're going to be hurting here in a minute, probably. All right. Shout out to Slim Life with the 5-bomb. Says much love to the CEB family. Thank you for the support, Slim Life. I appreciate you. And they need to start locking up the Amber Heards of the world. I think if somebody brings false claims against you like this and you either dismiss, I don't want to say dismiss, because you can dismiss a claim for several reasons. But if it is proven that you lied or that you misremembered when making this type of claim, then you should be held liable to the full extent of the law. Whatever was going to be done to the person who you're filing the claim against, that should happen against you. And they're going to say, oh, well, victims won't come forward because such and such. I think this will give people who have a solid case more boldness to come forward, because they say, oh, I know this happened. I have the evidence. I have the proof. I can tell the story. I can pinpoint exactly when it happened, and then we can move forward. But because you can just throw a claim together And you can go through all of this, have an interview with NBC, have the attorney update his website and say, yeah, we stand on business and we use social media to make sure that we get our clients paid. The law should not work that way, in my opinion. You're safe. He's definitely not licensed in Atlanta. He's not licensed in the Southern District of New York either, Ryan. Oh, man. We are starting to dig out the driveways in Montana. Yeah, shout out to y'all getting some of this nasty weather. It was actually pretty nice this morning here in Atlanta. It was 43 degrees, and this morning it still felt pretty warm. I was feeling good. You cannot say anything about someone with no proof. It's sad, man. It's sad things are this way. Just another stupid move by Tony B. And someone who's, I think it's worse that it's somebody who's an attorney. No, you're just trying to, it's malicious. It's absolutely malicious and it shouldn't be allowed. That makes me sick. All right, let's get into our next topic. I know this is what a lot of you came here for, and we've got some breaking news. This is going to be a fun one. Because this is some drama, or maybe some fake drama, we'll say. Let me see if I can find okay, we're good. So we've got some breaking news when it comes to everything that's going down between, well, allegedly going down between Jay-Z, Beyonce, and Rihanna and A$AP Rocky. And it's so funny to me to see people that are trying to break this story, people who are trying to say, oh, things are sealed. Oh, this is all quiet. Oh, look what's happening here. It's on the record. Man, a lot of people got tricked, and it's hilarious to watch. We're going to get into it here in a second. So it came out in the past few hours or so, in the past 24 hours, we'll say, that Jay-Z and Beyonce were filing a lawsuit against A$AP Rocky and Rihanna. What? I know. I thought the same thing when I first heard it. I said, there's got to be more to this. I'm going to wait. We're going to give it some time and we'll see how this plays out. So we're going to go through the alleged evidence that came out about this lawsuit, and then we're going to see what happened moving forward. So you have Carter versus A$AP Rocky. This doesn't even look right here. It was filed on 2/22, and then the news came out, right? What are they saying? The dates entered. They've got a hearing set for the 22nd, which didn't make any sense as well. And then we've got Knowles Carter versus Fenty. What? So we've got Jay-Z versus A$AP Rocky, and then we've got A$AP Rocky, or we've got Beyonce versus Rihanna. First of all, they didn't even spell her name right here, right? They've got Robin Rihanna Fenty versus Beyonce Giselle Knowles Carter. And then what else do we have? This is what they're looking for in the Office of St. Thomas Division. This was filed on the 22nd. Jury demand both, so they want the jury. The demand is $75,000. What? The cause is labor litigation, which is crazy. Here's the origin, all this information, and then the defendant and the plaintiff, right? And shout out to Document Things for this. And then they also have the second lawsuit, which is allegedly Jay-Z versus A$AP Rocky. Now, what's the problem with this? I see a lot of y'all mentioning this. Somebody said A$AP Fools. I like that. That's hilarious. Not April Fools, A$AP Fools. A$AP Rocky, Rihanna, Jay-Z, and Beyonce have a very, very close relationship when it comes to business, when it comes to music, when it comes to A$AP Rocky and his dealings with Roc Nation. So several hours ago, less than a few hours ago, the news came out that this was actually a fake lawsuit. And again, it was so funny to me to see people reporting on this saying, oh, this is what's happening. Oh, it's actually sealed. It's a secret. We don't know what's going on. Maybe we'll wait and see. And this is one of the reasons why I don't like reporting on things sometimes as soon as they come out, because you miss a lot of information and you can end up looking foolish, as I think a lot of people did in this case. Let's see what happened here. And shout out to the Tribune for this article. Jay-Z, Beyonce versus Rihanna and A$AP Rocky. Roc Nation says, don't be dumb. Recent online rumors suggested that Jay-Z and Beyonce had initiated legal actions against Rihanna and A$AP Rocky, which makes no sense, in the Virgin Islands District Court over unspecified labor disputes. That, again, this doesn't even make sense. Why would this be filed in the Virgin Islands? These claims, which originated from social media discussions and unverified online sources, have been officially denied by Roc Nation, the entertainment company founded by Jay-Z. Roc Nation addressed the rumors directly, stating, "Don't be dumb." And shout out to A$AP Rocky. It looks like we've got an album coming soon from him, emphasizing the baseless nature of the allegations. The company clarified that no such legal filings exist and urged the public to disregard unfounded reports circulating online. The rumors appeared to have stemmed from a misrepresentation of online discussions and unverified claims, including a Reddit post that mentioned supposed lawsuits filed by the Carters against Rihanna and A$AP Rocky. However, no credible legal documents or official statements support these assertions. Roc Nation, established by Jay-Z in 2008, serves as a multifaceted entertainment company with ventures spanning talent management, music publishing, and sports. The company maintains a professional relationship with various artists, including Rihanna, who has been associated with Roc Nation for management and distribution for a very, 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 very long time. In light of those rumors, it's essential to rely on verified information from reputable sources, again, which is what we try to do here. Both Roc Nation and the artists involved have not engaged in any legal disputes as described in these circulating claims. The public is encouraged to approach such rumors with skepticism and seek confirmation from local channels before accepting them as fact. Isn't it a simple thing to do? Instead of just putting videos out here for the clicks, putting news out there just to say that you got it first, why not have some integrity and actually look at this as a reasonable, conscious person? Again, I'm not an attorney, I'm not a lawyer, so shout out to all the ones out there who allegedly did the research, but they're looking crazy right now. I have a feeling a lot of these YouTube videos that were made are going to be taken down pretty soon. And lastly, they say, let me see, hold on a second. And lastly, they say here, the incident underscores the importance of critical evaluation of information, especially in the digital age where misinformation can spread rapidly. Fans and followers are advised to consult official statements and trusted news outlets for accurate updates regarding their favorite artists. And it's also interesting to see because lately there's been even several sports media outlets that have been caught up in this and have been caught bad. There's a Twitter account called NBA Sentinel, and there's an official NBA account called NBA Central. Both of the accounts look very similar, but NBA Sentinel is actually a parody account where they post news that could be seen as funny, news that could be seen as maybe satire or something that they think is funny. And a lot of people have thought it was posted by the official NBA Central account and reported it on some of these major networks as news, which is just hilarious to see. But again, if you're going to report on something, at least one, make sure that your opinion is backed by facts. And then if you're going to post it, make sure you're not posting something that is just going to make you look fools. Anyway, I thought this was hilarious to share. Looks like right now, Jay-Z and Beyonce versus Rihanna and A$AP Rocky is not going to happen. And A$AP Rocky is going to continue to win after his major win in this criminal case he had against the state and A$AP Telly, as y'all call it. Anyway, let me know what y'all think about this in the comments and in the chat. Oh my gosh, man. There's sometimes I miss things here on this channel. And when I'm wrong about something, or when I make a wrong prediction, or if I say something in a video or while we're on live and I find out that that was incorrect, I correct it. But there have been 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 videos about this lawsuit coming out just because people want to be first to report on this news, and they end up looking crazy. No, Court TV did not bite on this. I think it's a couple of other YouTubers that maybe bit more than anything. But I just think it's a mess. And I think if you build a solid community and if you show up regularly for people, you don't have to be the first one to report on somebody, because now they're going to end up looking crazy. Anyway, y'all know who they are. I'm not going to call out any names, but I think it's hilarious that it happened. Rocky is signed to Roc Nation's management now. It looked faked. It didn't make sense. When things don't make sense, like, I need to start another YouTube channel. I was talking to Amy about this morning, about just using common sense when it comes to the legal side of things. We looked at the Tony Busby lawsuit, everything that was going on allegedly with the Jane Doe, right? And we just said, this doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. And everyone was on the train. I was like, Jay-Z, we knew it. I believe it. This happened. And then the case, Jay-Z didn't settle. The case gets dismissed, right? Because it was BS and more information came out. Same thing with the A$AP Rocky trial. We went throughout the trial, and as it went along, we looked at the video and said, man, 12's story actually makes more sense than Relly's story. Why was Relly the only one who found the shell casings? Why were there no prop gun shell casings? And even if it was a real gun, and you're saying that the magazine that was left at Rocky's house belonged to the real gun that's missing, why was there different ammo in that gun than the shell casings that Relly found? It doesn't make sense. And then in this case, they're filing this in the Virgin Islands. They're going to have a lawsuit over $75,000. Jay-Z wipes his you-know-what with $75,000 over labor. Man, hey, listen, I get the content creation game and I understand the hustle. It's hard. It's a lot of work and you want to find content to put out there, but come on, man, this one ain't it. So I don't know. I got to start a new YouTube channel where we just look at things from a common sense perspective, which is kind of what we do here. And I'll get y'all's initial thoughts and we give our initial thoughts on this, putting the law aside. I think that would be something fun. Maybe we'll do that coming soon. People are arguing on other channels saying it's real. Are you serious? They're saying Jay-Z and Beyonce are done. Crazy work. I don't know. Some people just want to see certain people lose, and that's fine. As long as you say that, you say, I don't get it. But as long as you say, I can't stand Jay-Z, I don't like how he looks, I don't like his unfilled in mustache, and the fact that he's married to Beyonce and that he's got billions, well, we'll say millions, possibly billions of dollars. I don't like him. So whenever something comes out, I'm going to put it up here and I'm going to talk about it. And I'm going to make sure that I air out every single Jay-Z thing I can. Fine. If you put that out there and say that, fine. I don't get it, but if you want to do that, okay. But saying that that something is clearly bogus and fake is real just so you can prove a point, I will never understand that. Thank you for being logical and ethical. Thank y'all for the support, man. Everybody doesn't want that. A lot of people just want the tea. And even some of these folks that are out here making YouTube videos about it, and they said, oh, this is what's happening, it's all secret and sealed, they're still going to be just fine because people, they just want the tea, and they'll say what we've been seeing people say in our comments, that, oh, well, he's guilty of something. There's probably a lawsuit there somewhere. No, they just paid off the Tribune. They just paid off the Tribune to say that it wasn't a real lawsuit. Whatever. They put 2 and 2 together. I think really needs to go watch Law Abiding Citizen with Jamie Foxx. It's not what you know, it's about what you can prove in court. There you go. That's the thing about an opinion. Everybody's entitled to one. I'm going with the logical one and say that it was either for publicity or a hoax to cover something else up. That's what I thought too, especially Don't Be Dumb's coming out. Everybody's talking about Jay-Z and A$AP Rocky now. Still, classy, that's what they want, tea and salacious gossip. I'm good on that. There's plenty of people out there with the tea. I'm fine. I'm fine on that. Shout out to Michi with the support, man. Always showing up, dropping the 5 bomb. She said, this is why I like Classy's channel. It's not clickbait. Thank you. People dislike the truth because lies are more entertaining. Amy, checkmate. Yeah, shout out to you, Michi. And as long as you're not defaming someone, I mean, and you want to give, again, as we talked about, your opinion, fine. You're allowed to have an opinion. But reporting that something is fact and there's just some mysterious thing going on behind the scenes is just wild to me. But hey, maybe it works. What about the Grammys rigged? Did Beyonce really win Album of the Year? Don't get me started on the Grammys, please. Don't get me started on the Grammys. Here's the thing about the Grammys, and I've been consistent on this. I've been consistent about people not being consistent. And what I mean by that is 3 years ago, we were talking about the Grammys and everyone's like, oh, the Grammys are terrible. Nobody's getting their credit. Even last year, oh, Beyonce. She never had an album win a Grammy. The Grammys is just, it's all a show. It's not real. And those same exact people, they switched this year. Kendrick Lamar, 5 Grammys. Yeah. We're back. The culture. Beyonce Album of the Year. Country Album of the Year. Woo. The Grammys are real now. What? It's. Can we be consistent? Please. I don't understand it. I don't get it. Shout out to the World's End again. Being a member for 5 months. Oh my gosh. I got to give you a round of applause for that. Thank you for the support. I know. He says, still keeping it classy. Thank you, World's End. Hey, you're up here. We're talking about the Grammys. For the past 10 years, y'all have been saying the Grammys are garbage. But beyond, Kendrick Lamar wins 5 Grammys for a song and an album that y'all like. And then Beyonce finally gets her a Grammy for an album. And we all of a sudden support the Grammys. This is, don't get me talking about the culture and the community too. This is why we're at the place we're in, because we can't get on the same page. We're not consistent. And now we're here. We get hyped up so easily over simple stuff. Wow. Crazy. The Grammys been rigged. It's so I'm not reading it. Some people don't know how to express their frustration. Classy, don't do it to them. Brown Sugar Bay, I'm going to leave it. I'm not going there. I'm not going there. I do believe Kendrick deserved his, but B, her album sucked. Dang. There's no, and see, this is, again, people want to call me a hater. There is no question that Kendrick Lamar made the #1 rap song of 2024. And I think he should ride this thing until he can't no more. So whatever awards and accolades he gets from that, I think he earned it. Drake decided to go into beef with him and Kendrick came out the winner and he's winning. So shout out to Kendrick Lamar. But we're not going to do this Grammys thing. I'm not going to do this Grammys thing. I know, and I see the Grammys for what it is. I haven't watched the Grammys and I don't know how long. We get what the Grammys are there and what they're used for promotion, for support. And it's fine. We can accept that and we can move on. We can have our own opinions about GNX and not like us or like us. That's like saying Reba McEntire is an R&B artist of the year. Oh, here we go. NFL said they made a bad choice for the Super Bowl. Haha, they're whack. I never expected the shout outs of the World's End. It made a low day much better for me. Shout out to World's End, man. Thank you for the support. I appreciate you saying that, man. Yeah, thank you for being here. Watch next year. Watch next year. Imagine, have y'all listened to the new Drake and Party Next Door album? Imagine that wins a Grammy next year. Oh, Lord. What's up, Donna? Imagine Drake and Party Next Door's album wins a Grammy next year. What are they going to say then? We'll see. We'll be back here in a year. Y'all know I'm not going anywhere. We'll talk about it next year. Let's talk about the Super Bowl being rigged and the Grammys always been anti-black. Go talk to Tyler, the Creator, about the Grammys. Go talk to Drake about the Grammys. I don't know. Some people don't think Drake is black, but again, we're not getting to that either. All right, let's keep it. We don't want to. I'm not doing that on this show. We gotta, man. I gotta make another show for this because we have so much we need to talk about. But we'll get there one day. I'm just taking it one day at a time, y'all. All right. Let's talk about what's going on with Diddy. We've got some more Diddy news. I don't know. Hey, yo. I don't know how to say that any other way. So shout out to Sean Diddy Combs. Where's my picture of Diddy? There we go. Y'all, Drake better not win a Grammy next year. They're going to burn it down. All right, so we've got some new news about Mr. Sean Diddy Combs. It's looking like one of his lawyers, he can't take it anymore. He's tired of it. He's frustrated and he quits. So let's see what's going on here. Shout out to the New York Post for this update.
The downfall of 55-year-old Diddy, aka Sean John Combs, Puff Daddy, Puffy, P. Diddy, is a classic Shakespearean tragedy, showbiz style. It began to go very wrong last March when the feds raided his homes in LA and Miami. In May, horrifying footage of Diddy brutally attacking his then-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, in a hotel hallway in 2016 was leaked and went viral. He quickly apologized, settled with Ventura, but his problems were just starting.
The world-famous Sean Diddy Combs is expected to be arraigned on federal charges this morning.
Diddy is being charged with racketeering and sex trafficking.
Now the three-time Grammy-winning rapper, record producer, record executive, and fashion designer, once the toast of New York and LA, not to mention the Hamptons and Saint-Tropez, is cooling his heels at the notorious Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn.
That's weird.
He's been there since his September arrest on racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking charges. Now he's given up on getting out on bail and will be in jail until his trial in May 2025. Even Jay-Z's gotten dragged into the mess. He was recently accused of raping a minor along with Diddy at an MTV VMAs after party in 2000. Now, Jay-Z hasn't been charged with anything and is fighting back very aggressively. Diddy, too, insists he's not guilty of all the charges against him. He also says he's innocent of all the claims against him in dozens of civil lawsuits filed in recent months by both women and men. Now, they claim in many cases that he drugged, groped, and raped them. Diddy's accused of orchestrating creepy sex parties known as freak-offs in the early 2000s.
Not the freak-offs.
These ragers were said to be elaborate, high-profile affairs, which the feds say were really day-long sex orgies. But the freak-offs, the white parties, they're all a thing of the past now. Instead of waking up in one of his luxurious mansions, Diddy wakes up to cinder block walls. The jail has housed everyone from R. Kelly to Sam Bankman-Fried. President Trump's former fixer, Michael Cohen, spent time there as well and called it, quote, disgusting with, quote, horrifying conditions. Either way, it's a long way from Diddy's life as a rap icon, but there are those who believe that how it begins is often how it ends. I was a cub reporter on the night shift 33 years ago this month when we heard there'd been a riot at a City College of New York charity basketball game organized by a then unknown Puffy that ended in a deadly stampede. 9 people died. The tragedy might have stopped some careers in their tracks, but not Diddy's. Despite decades of scandals, which included a nightclub shooting in 1999 involving Diddy, his then-girlfriend Jennifer Lopez, and rapper Jamal Shine Barrow, Diddy kept growing in wealth, power, and influence. Diddy's father, Melvin Earl Combs, was a small-time drug dealer shot dead in his car when Diddy was just 3 years old. Diddy has so far avoided that fate, but his professional life has taken what seems to be a fatal hit. At least his kids, he's got 7 by several different women, are sticking by him, along with his mother, Janice Combs. He's got some of the best lawyers money can buy, but it may not be enough to save him this time.
All right, so now that we've got that from the New York Post, let's see what's going on with his lawyer that just quit on him. One of Sean Diddy Combs' defense lawyers quit the disgraced music the disgraced music producer's criminal trafficking case, new court papers show. Anthony Rico filed a motion Thursday to withdraw as one of the Bad Boy Records' 6 defense attorneys without explanation. So who knows what's going on here? Rico's bid to step down won't be official until a judge signs off on it. A judge must find sufficient reason to approve such a request. Under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel for Sean Combs, Rico wrote in the Manhattan federal court affidavit. It is respectfully but regrettably requested that the court grant the relief requested. All right. The lawyer didn't elaborate on why he wanted to step down, but notice the decision came after speaking with Combs' lead counsel, Mark A., because I'm going to mess up his name. The attorney suggested the cause for his affidavit's brevity is because he didn't want to divulge any information protected by attorney-client privilege. Oh, what's going on there? What do y'all think Diddy told him? That's an interesting statement there. But he told the judge there are sufficient reasons for asking to be let off the case. Rico assured the judge his resignation wouldn't delay the trial, which is set for May 5th, a few months, y'all. Since Combs will continue to be represented by 5 other attorneys of record. Combs, 54, has pled not guilty to charges. He forced women into drugged up, we'll call them freak-offs, all right? He's been behind bars without bail since September's arrest. He faces a mandatory minimum of 15 years behind bars and up to life in imprisonment if convicted on the top charge, which I find it hard to believe that he will be. We'll wait and see. Combs also faces at least 40 lawsuits by men and women who claimed he drugged them and assaulted them, or y'all can read. All right, so let's go and see what Law and Crime has to say about this, because this whole situation is really weird. And especially the statement that Rico mentioned for whatever reason that attorney-client privilege was involved, so he didn't want to give too much information. Something's going on there. We might never know. We'll have to wait and see.
To Diddy's defense team just 3 months before his high-profile trial is expected to start.
On Friday, a surprising announcement came down. One of his defense attorneys suddenly quits the case. I'm Elizabeth Milner with Law and Crime. Now, this particular defense attorney's reason for quitting wasn't really a reason at all, making his departure a lot more puzzling.
Shortly after Diddy's arrest, his defense team grew when he stacked on 2 more defense attorneys to join Mark Agnifilo and Tinny Garagos at the defense table. Now, the 2 that joined at the time were high-profile attorney Alexandra Shapiro, whose client Sam Bankman-Fried actually shared a unit at the detention center with Diddy, and high-profile death penalty attorney Anthony Rico. Now, while the pair joined around the same time, Anthony in a court filing on Friday said he's leaving the case. In the filing, Anthony Rico said, quote, "For the reasons set forth below, this motion for withdrawals is filed so that Sean Combs may move forward with his defense and to commence jury selection and trial without any delay. As a result of discussion with lead counsel Mark Agnifilo, this motion for withdrawal of counsel is filed. While I am aware that the local rule requires an application for withdrawal of counsel is supported and granted, there are sufficient reasons related to protections afforded by the attorney-client privilege for brevity in my application for withdrawal as counsel in this case. Although I have provided Sean Combs with the high level of legal representation expected by the court, under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel for Sean Combs," end quote. Now, essentially in legalese, I quit, but I can't go into details because of attorney-client privilege. According to the filing, though, the defense shakeup won't delay the case. Diddy will continue with 5 attorneys. That's Mark Agnifilo, Tinny Garagos, Alexandra Shapiro, Jason A. Driscoll, and Anna Esteval. Now, a judge still has to sign off on the motion, but with the government taking no position on it and the fact Anthony Rico spoke with Mark Agnifilo about it before filing the motion, a judge will likely sign off on it. Now, as I mentioned, Anthony Rico is a very well-established death penalty attorney and was lead defense in up to 45 federal death penalty cases. His bio on the Fordham Law University website says some of the notable yet controversial cases included Anthony Rico serving on the counsel in the World Trade bombing conspiracy conspiracy case and embassy bombing in 1998. And he stays busy. He also doubles as an adjunct professor of law at Fordham and has been practicing law since 1982. As for Diddy himself, as many of us know, he's been locked up on charges of federal sex trafficking, racketeering conspiracy, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Now, that last charge I mentioned, i.e. count 3 in his indictment, transportation to engage in prostitution, well, Diddy's lawyers are wanting that charge thrown out, citing it's from a racist law. Just days before Anthony Rico filed a motion to withdraw from Diddy's counsel, Diddy's lawyers filed a motion to dismiss that charge because they argue no white person has ever been the target of a remotely similar prosecution. So that charge is known as the Mann Act, which was previously named by Congress as the White Slave Traffic Act, which made it illegal to transport people across state or international lines for the purpose of prostitution. Here's the thing. Diddy's lawyer says the law has a history of racial bias. Diddy's defense seems to be gearing up toward his alleged criminal conduct wasn't criminal. It was his personal business of what was going on in his bedrooms or hotels or wherever the freak-offs occurred. So they're saying that count 3 wasn't transportation to engage in prostitution, but was just him using escorts, male escorts at that, to bring in as a third with his girlfriends. Whereas the government's theory of the case is Diddy used force, fraud, and coercion to make his alleged victims have sex against their will in his freak-offs that he recorded for his own pleasure. Now, Diddy pleaded not guilty to all his charges, hence why the case is going to trial. And that trial is set for less than 3 months from now, in early May. Now, despite being locked up for 5 months, Diddy's case continues to make headlines, not just from the federal trial, but also the dozens of civil lawsuits he still faces. But Diddy scored some wins behind bars. One of his civil lawsuits accusing him of raping a 13-year-old with Jay-Z back in 2000 was dismissed after the accuser dropped her lawsuit against the two moguls.
Shout out to Tony Busby.
Denied the allegation, and Jay-Z, for his part, took it a step further and sued the accuser's attorney, Tony Busby, for extortion. However, despite that being dismissed, Diddy still faces a number of civil suits, even from accusers whose lawyer isn't Tony Busby. As for Diddy's federal criminal case, the stakes are high. He's facing a minimum of 15 years in prison, but a maximum of life behind bars.
Let's break down the latest defense team shakeup with attorney and former federal prosecutor Nima Rahmani. Nima, it's always great to see you, and thank you so much for joining me today. What's your reaction to Anthony Rico saying he's quitting the defense team, and how significant is it, being that Diddy's 3 months away from trial?
Yeah.
Elizabeth, it is significant, and it's tough to know the reason why. It could be any number of possibilities. Sometimes it's when the lawyer hasn't been paid, but we know obviously Diddy doesn't have that problem. He's got plenty of money. It could be a disagreement regarding defense strategy. It could be a conflict. It could be a health issue. It really could be anything, and the paperwork doesn't identify it, nor should it. And the fact that Mark Agnifilo is still on the case and the other counsel of record leads me to believe that the judge is going to rubber stamp this motion and grant it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was kind of surprised, like you were too, because even being inside the courtroom and throughout Diddy's hearings, you would see Diddy and Anthony kind of speaking to one another. He would always pass him notes while Mark Agnifilo made the arguments. Diddy and Anthony Rico would exchange hugs with one another. Anthony Rico always even made it a point to tell the judge Diddy's family traveled all the way from traveled all the way to New York for his hearings. With all of that being said, kind of going back to what potentially the reasoning might be, do you think that it might have been a personal conflict between Diddy and Anthony Rico, or do you think it might have been Anthony Rico with other counsel? But what do you make of all of that?
Potentially, it could be a conflict with the client, right? A disagreement. They just don't get along. The communication is poor. They don't agree on defense strategy. It could be a conflict with one of the other lawyers. Obviously, it seems like Agnifilo is the lead on this case, although Rico was certainly his 1B. And I know obviously there's other lawyers on the case. Obviously, a lot of the victims are female. They're going to want female lawyers on the defense team, especially during some of the aggressive cross-examination. That tends to be the conventional wisdom when you're dealing with victims who are alleged victims of sexual assault or abuse. And then it could be a conflict with one of the victims themselves. Maybe maybe Rico consulted with them or even represented them in such a way that he has to get off the case. So it could be any number of potential conflicts.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, kind of just looking at the motion to withdraw too, like you had mentioned before, not much reasoning given. Anthony Rico wrote, there are sufficient reasons related to the protections afforded by attorney-client privilege for brevity in my application for withdrawal as counsel in this case. Although I've provided Sean Combs with the high level of legal representation expected by the court, under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel.
Yeah, and it seems like, again, it could be a number of things. I think it's weird that he said a lot of the reason that he's pulling back from representing Diddy is protected under attorney-client privilege. So Maybe it's just conversations they all had about strategy. Who knows? Y'all have to let me know what you think about this in the comments and in the chat. Is it something? Is it nothing? Or I don't know. Is Diddy's case not looking great? We'll have to wait and see. Appreciate y'all, man. Shout out to everybody that's in here. Y'all have shown so much love. Got those likes over 100%. Sheesh. Absolutely insane. I appreciate y'all taking the time to do that. It really does help the channel out a lot. All right, let me see what y'all are saying about this in the comments too. He wanted to pay him in baby oil and he said no. Come on, man. I gotta read these comments before I read them out loud. All right, I'm gonna say it out loud again, y'all. Diddy is innocent of the things he's currently being accused of. He was an abusive, freaky guy, but I'm not seeing Rico. Okay, I mean, I don't have a problem with that stance. I don't have a problem with that stance. Now, there has been a lot of evidence saying that maybe, possibly, the feds are going to put a good case together when it comes to Diddy, just because he was involved in so much freaky stuff. And obviously whatever Diddy and Cassie had going on, I don't know. So we'll have to wait and see as it plays out. But I don't have a problem with someone saying they believe he's innocent. Now, if you're saying I believe he didn't, I don't want to do this. People are going to get mad. Even when it comes to Cassie, I mean, I'm not going to go down that. I'm not going to go down that right. I'm not going to go down that route. We'll see. Federal cases are tough. I will say that. They have a very, very, very almost 100% conviction rate. So we know there's something there. What that something is, we'll have to wait and see. But I don't have a problem with that take at all. The male forced prostitution case is ridiculous. As Wright Street said, there's a lot of egos in that defense team. Yeah, when you get a lot of the best in there, there's going to be some clashing. And who knows, maybe he'll come back. His lawyer probably hit the crossroads. It's when they're battling, choosing their job / client over morals and beliefs. Oh, so you think it's a moral thing? Oof. I live in Michigan and these kids were abandoned and afraid to leave and were abandoned. And there was filth and feces and etc. Oh, gosh. Praying for those children. Thank God they're going to be in better situations. Rice Street's in here. My dog says the lawyer was bumping heads with the lead lawyer. ASAP Joe said that this morning. Oh, okay. Shout out to ASAP Joe Tacopina. I disagree with the fact that he has the best lawyers that money can buy. His lawyers are crappy. Dang. She's killing Diddy with the extra shade. What was it Suge Knight said? All up in the videos. Oh, yeah. It was truth. Peace. That's why they have 100% conviction rates. It's basically 100%. It's rough. There's so many topics surrounding Diddy, Tupac, Kim Porter, and inappropriate stuff. Cassie, this will be interesting. Mr. Rico may have saw something that his conscience wouldn't allow him to proceed. Hey, listen. If there is, I will tell y'all this. I believe you're innocent. I don't even want to say that. I believe you're innocent until proven guilty, right? But when it comes to crimes against children, I usually only have to see like one little piece of evidence before I'm like, you got to go. Now, there have been cases I've seen. Again, a lot of y'all know I indicted some cases on the grand jury here in Atlanta. And there are a lot of cases where things don't add up, and maybe it's possible that the kid could have been coached, or the kid didn't remember, or the kid's protecting somebody else, so they throw another person under the bus. I saw, I can't say what it, but anyway. But when it comes to crimes against kids, man, I'm usually I try hard to think innocent until proven guilty, but that's a tough one for me. So I say that to say, if there's any of that in this Diddy case, I think I'm gonna have to see one case, and then I'm ready to throw him all the way under the jail. ASAP Joe turned down being a lawyer on the Diddy case. That doesn't mean he won't be moving forward. Things can change super fast. That man said, I have daughters, I can't do this. Maybe. We don't I don't know. We'll never know, because unless he just wants to not practice as an attorney and be locked up, attorney-client privilege, we'll never hear it. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you to all 400, 500 plus of you that stopped by the show. Thank you to everybody that sent in super chats and supported everyone who celebrated a milestone today for the memberships. Y'all know we're going to be back tomorrow. We may possibly have an update on Diamante Kendrick tomorrow. So if y'all could type and spam the free Yak Gottis in the chat. I don't know if that's going to be televised, but I'll be looking out for updates on that. Yak Gotti is supposed to have a case management, a case update hearing tomorrow morning around 10 o'clock. So if it's broadcast live, we'll be there. Y'all know we'll be reporting on it. Either way, we'll be back here tomorrow like we are every weekday for the morning show. Make sure if you haven't yet subscribed, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any time we go live or drop a new video. Also tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we've got another episode of the Song of the Night live show right here on the Classy Beats YouTube channel. So if you want an opportunity to hear some music from the independent artists here in the community, make sure you check out the show. You'll also get a chance to win $100 just for tuning into the show. So even if you're not an artist, make sure you stop by and get a chance to win. I appreciate y'all. I hope y'all have a great rest of your day. And as always, you know what to do. Keep growing, keep pushing, keep it classy. We gone. Peace.